All right, so lesson number 1 is going to be all about the parts of the ukulele, how to hold the ukulele properly, and how to tune the ukulele. We're also going to go over what strumming and plucking is, and I'm going to give you a plucking exercise that I want you to practice every day of this course. So just a note before we start, I am right-handed, and this course is mostly for right-handed players. If you are a left-handed person, there's a few different ways you can go about playing ukulele. You can switch the strings around, you can turn the ukulele to the other way, or you can just play it as a right-handed person would. So since there's so many different ways, it's hard for me to cater to all of them. So in this course, I'm going to be focusing on people who are right-handed. So I'm really sorry if you are left-handed, but that is how I learned and that is what I know how to teach. With that being said, let's go over the parts of the ukulele. Up here, we have the head. And these are the tuning pegs. They control the pitch or the sound of the strings. And so these are the strings, and the one closest to your face is G. Then we have C, E, and A. And you can remember that with a little saying that I made up called "Good cows eat apples." You can also make up your own saying if you want, but that's the one that I use. So good cows eat apples. We have the neck of the ukulele and the frets. All of these spaces are called frets. This is fret 1, fret 2, fret 3, fret 4, fret 5, and so on. And some ukuleles have these little markings on them, these dots. And sometimes they're on the side as well, like mine does. And those are just markings to let you know which fret you're on. Imagine if they weren't there, you'd have to be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Otherwise, you can just look at the dot that's on the side or on the neck, and you can say, oh, that's fret 5. And then here we have the body of the ukulele. This is the sound hole. Up here is called the nut. Down here, this is where the strings are attached. Sometimes at the bottom of the ukulele, there will be a little peg here, and that is just to put on a strap. And then I have also another peg here, and that's where the strap would go. Not all ukuleles will have that though, and that's totally fine. All right, so let's go on to holding the ukulele. So there's not really one right way. The most important thing is that it feels comfortable to you, but I'm going to show you how I do it. So I hold the ukulele pretty much horizontally, but up at a little angle, and I smush the ukulele body against my upper body like this, and the bottom of the ukulele is just kind of hugged in between my arm and my body like that. You just kind of have to play around with it and see what feels good. And you need to be able to hold the ukulele while you're playing the chords. So there has to be some pressure there while you're holding it. If it's hard for you and it's kind of sliding around, then a good idea is to get a strap. This is a regular guitar strap. You can also use it for ukulele. And then so you would put one part on this little peg here, like that. And the other end will go down at the bottom. Sometimes ukuleles will just have one peg at the bottom, and then if it doesn't have a peg at the top, you can just tie it around this part. All right, so we put on the strap, and then you don't really have to worry about holding it tightly, because if you don't have a strap and you don't hold it tightly, then it can fall. We don't want that. But if you have a strap, then you don't have to worry about that. So that's one nice thing about it. Also, if you want to stand up while you're playing, a strap can be helpful. Whenever I do a performance and I'm standing up, I almost always use a strap just so I don't have to worry about holding the ukulele tightly and worrying about if it will fall. All right, so that's how you do it with the strap. You want to make sure that the strap is tight enough so that it's at a good level for you to play. So for me, that's about right. Now my hand is comfortable, my elbow is resting on the ukulele body while I can just strum the strings. Now where you want to strum the strings is ideally right over the sound hole, but you can also strum them along this part of the neck as well. That's usually where I play. And as you can hear, it doesn't make that much of a difference in the sound if you strum it on the neck or if you strum it over the hole. So do what feels comfortable to you is my advice. You can also hold the ukulele so that it's kind of resting on your lap, maybe on your right thigh, and then you can still play it like that. So let me just turn around a little bit as I'm playing so you can see what it looks like, and so you can see what my left hand looks like as well. When I'm forming chords, my whole hand is surrounding the ukulele neck. My thumb is usually just hanging out here. If I need to make a chord that is a little bit more difficult and requires some more strength in my fingers, like what's called a bar chord when you use your index finger for more than one fret, like that, then I'll use my thumb to smush it into the back of the neck so that it helps my fingers squish into the neck and the strings. But usually if I'm just playing simple chords that are not bar chords, my thumb is just kind of hanging out here. And my whole hand is really holding the neck. So if you're kind of putting your thumb on the back and you're trying to play the chords, you can do that, but it's a bit trickier. So I recommend just putting all this part of your hand around the neck for those simple chords. So when we play ukulele, we can either strum or pluck the strings. So strumming is when you take your thumb or your finger or a pick like this, and you just go like this. Play all of the strings at once. You can play it with the skin of your thumb, like that. You can play it with the nail of your index finger, like this. You can play it with a pick. With the pick, you hold the bigger end of it and then use the smaller end to strum. And with strumming, there's what's called down strum, which is when you strum the G string down to the A. So from the top closest to your face, down. So that's called a down strum. And again, you can use your thumb or your index finger or a pick. Now up strums is when you strum the other way, so going up. With up strums, you can strum all of the strings, or you can just strum the last one or two. That's what I usually do. It just makes it sound a little bit different, and it's a little bit easier because you don't have to go all the way up to the top. And with up strums, I usually use the skin part of my index finger. So I'll do down with the nail part of my index finger and then up with just the skin part. But you can do however works for you. With a pick, I go like this. Okay, and then plucking is just when you play strings individually. You can use your thumb and your index finger and your middle finger and your ring finger and even your pinky finger, whatever feels good to you for plucking. When you pluck, you can just use one finger, like if you're plucking out a melody like this. You can just use your index finger, that's no problem. And then there's other more complicated patterns known as finger picking, something like this. That's also plucking, but also finger picking. And in that case, I'm using my thumb and my index and my middle and my ring finger to do that. And that's something that we're going to be getting into a little bit later in the course. But we are going to start with a plucking exercise today. And this is the exercise that I want you to do every day throughout the course. It's very simple. We're not going to be playing any chords up here. You don't have to do anything with your left hand or your fretting hand. What we're going to do is take your thumb and play the G string. So let's do that together. All right? You got it. Now take your index finger and play the C string. That's the next one. Okay? Now let's do G, C, G, C, G with your thumb, C with your index finger. You got that? Now take your middle finger and play the E string. Now let's play G, C, E. I'm going to move a little bit closer so you can see better. G, C, E. Again, G, C, E. All right, once you have that, we're going to add in the ring finger to A. So here we go. G, C, E, A. Again. G, C, E, A. If that's too fast for you, we can go slower. G, C, E, So that is the exercise I want you to practice every day. I want you to do this G, C, E, A over and over and over, at least 10 times. G, C, E, A. G, C, E, A. And if you want to say the string names out loud as you're doing it, that will help you to memorize what the names of the strings are. So that's what I want you to film today, is you doing this exercise. You don't have to show your face in the video if you don't want to. Just hold the ukulele up to the camera and show your hand doing this. It doesn't matter if it sounds bad. It doesn't matter if it's really slow. I also want you to think of a song that you want to learn how to play. It can be an easy song, it can be a harder song, just a song that you really love and want to learn how to play. And I want you to post that in the group saying, my goal is to learn the song blank. And we'll come back to that later on in the course. So make sure you do that today as part of your homework. So there we go, that's day 1. I will see you again tomorrow.